Hi, my name is Davis Weimer. I graduated from the backend program in November 2023. This project is an extension of a Rails API completed during my time at Turing. The primary goal was to learn about aspects of web development and SOA that I didn't have time to approach while at Turing. Weather Sweater embodies many principles of SOA through its modular design, integration of external services, secure management of credentials, and a focus on user-centric features like secure authentication and comprehensive weather forecasting with a road trip creation feature. To accompany the original backend application, I built a React application to consume the original API endpoints. There were 3 web development concepts I wanted to learn more about during this project. Firstly, exploring comprehensive UI/UX design principles. My goal was to not only achieve aesthetic appeal, but to also ensure intuitive navigation and interaction patterns that cater to the end user's needs and preferences while maintaining full mobile responsiveness. This involved crash coursing Figma to understand layouts and utilizing their new dev mode to provide boilerplate Tailwind CSS. Secondly, the integration of JSON Web Token-based user authentication flow was a key area of focus. I spent a good while refactoring the Rails API to establish a secure and efficient mechanism for user registration, login, and session management through Devise JWT. By implementing JWT, I wanted to understand better how to handle tokens, manage session states, protect endpoints, and through sessioning, and implement best security practices to protect against common vulnerabilities. Lastly, the project was an opportunity to gain hands-on experience with CI/CD. By automating the build, test, and deployment processes with Fly.io and GitHub Actions, I learned a lot about accelerating the delivery for the updates and new features without accidentally compromising the production deployment. As a user, I can choose to register or log in. Let's register a new user. As you can see, the registration form is validated through various use effect hooks, testing regex expressions against the inputs until a valid input passes and is set to a valid input state for form submission. The form also provides real-time feedback using icons and tooltips. Upon successful completion and submission of the registration form, the user is prompted to log in. Once a user reaches the dashboard, several use effects fire off fetch requests carrying the user's bearer token persisted by an auth context that then displays the response forecast from the Weather API and a photo from the Unsplash API for the selected location. You can opt to change your location, which will be stored in local storage and will persist after the browser is closed. After you've selected the location of your preference, you can create a road trip that will display your origin, destination, travel time, and forecast at the destination. Once you've wrapped things up, log out to clear your session and get ready for your road trip. Don't forget to pack a sweater. Now I'd like to talk a little bit about the architecture of the actual applications. For user registration, a request with user credentials is sent on form submission to the Rails API. Then Devise verifies sent user params and upon success creates the user. Then third, Rails sends a response including information in the body. For user login, a request with user credentials is sent on form submission to the Rails API. Devise verifies sent user params and upon success creates a session and updates the user's JSON Web Token. Then Rails sends a response including information in the body and the JSON Web Token in the header. Auth context is then set and an auth object is saved to session storage. Require auth authenticates the auth context through a custom use auth hook and renders the outlet containing dashboard. So for the dashboard architecture, after the JSON Web Token authorization is successful, 2 fetches are sent to the Rails API as spoken about before for weather and photo data. These requests carry the authorized user's JSON Web Token in the header. Rails receives the request and runs a before action to authenticate the user, allowing access to the protected endpoints. Upon authentication, Rails sends a response carrying the requested information in the body. The same process is carried out when a user creates a road trip as well. Now that the foundation for user auth has been established in the app, I'm excited to continue adding and extending some features. The first one I would like to look at is to add Redis as a caching layer to help improve performance and remove repetitive calls like travel time, location, and photo retrieval. Also, adding a table for road trips with a foreign key to users, allowing the ability for users to save, delete, and view previous road trips would be sweet. And for new features, I think travel advice based on forecast, as well as a customizable dashboard, would be very awesome to implement. That's all for me. Thank you for your time, and I hope you enjoyed my presentation.